Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Śrī Radha Madhava ki Jaya. So we will be reading from Yashwan. I have some question. I lost the screen. Hare Krishna. So we are continuing to read from the verse of Caitanya-caritāmṛta Madhya Lila 1568 yesterday, today 69 and on. Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So Caitanya-caritāmṛta Madhya Lila, 15th chapter, verse 69. In Hara Krishna Sevara Katashuna Sarva Jnana Parama Pavitra Seva Ati Sarvotama. In Hara Krishna Sevara Katashuni Sarva Jnana Parama Pavitra Seva Ati Sarvotama. Yesterday we were speaking about Lord Chaitanya was so pleased with Raghava Pandit that he said, I don't know how to, we were speaking about how when Krishna is pleased, he doesn't know how to repay except giving Krishna prema. So today we'll read what kind of devotional service Raghava Pandit is doing. So Śrī Krishna Caitanya Mahāprabhu Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu then informed everyone, just hear about the pure devotional service rendered to Krishna by Raghava Pandit. Indeed, Raghava Pandit's service is supremely pure and highly accomplished. Let's stop in this word. Sarva Uttama, Parama Pavitra. Pavitra, Om Pavitra, Pavitrava. This is a famous verse. When we do sacrifice, we first chant this verse. Here's the verse. Om Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastam Gatopiva Yasmaret Pundarikaksham Sabbahya Abhyantara Shuchihi. So this is we chant this verse so that we can, this is for purification. Because the purity, for spiritual life, purity is the most important thing ultimately. Prabhupada said, purity is the force. The force of the Hare Krishna movement is the purity, not the material competence, or it's a purity, just purity. So, and he's not pure, he's parama pavitra, he's supremely pure. Raghava Pandit is supremely pure. And also not only that, there's more. He's also sarva uttama, well accomplished. So all perfections, meaning uttama means, the highest, everything the highest. And he's sarvat, he's the highest of all the highest. So this is Raghava Pandit. This is what Lord Chaitanya thinks about his devotee. So it would be nice that we act in such a way, as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, don't try to see God, act in such a way that God can see you. And then when God sees you, he will say, wow, Raghava Pandit, you are not just well accomplished, you are supremely pure. And you have achieved all the realizations. And this is what God thinks about you. I mean, this is pretty good. Otherwise, what God thinks of us is the verse in the Bhagavad Gita, 9:11, which goes, Avajayanti mam muda, manushim tanam ashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwara. This is what Krishna thinks of you when you're not sarva uttama, and when you're not pavitra, paramam pavitra. Avajananti mam muda, fools, they ride me when I descend in this human form. So Krishna called these people foolish men. These are the us. We are the foolish men because we do not know Krishna's form. And then they do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be. So everybody who doesn't understand, he's Muddha, Mam Muddha. So Krishna says, this is what Krishna thinks about people who don't know him. And this is what Krishna thinks about people who know him. So it's two different opinions. And then there's another verse here. Bhagavad Gita. It is explained that the people who don't understand na shocham na pichacharo na satyam teshu vidyate. These are the people who don't understand Krishna. They don't know what na shocham. They're not pure. Na shocham na apichacharo na satyam teshu vidyate. They don't know what is to be done, what is not to be done, and then na satyam. They don't know what is truth. So this is what you see the difference. This is na shocham or parama shocham, parama pavitram, parama pure, and the other hand, people who don't understand Krishna. And so we have to just put ourselves on a scale and see which scale are we? Are we on the parama pavitra scale, or are we on the other scale where we are na shocham na satyam teshu vidyate? So this is the measurement of who is a devotee, who is not a devotee, who is, transcendental, this. So, to go back to this verse of, where am I now? I think I lost the verse. No, here. So this is the now next verse. Ara dravya rahu shuna narikele rakata panchagandhakari narikela vikaya tata. Apart from other commodities, just hear about his, Raghava Pandit's, offering of coconuts. A coconut is sold at the rate of 5 gandas each. At that time, one coconut is 5 gandas. Gandas are small conchals. I was always wondering, how does that work with the conchal? And there's a very complicated system, but it works. Basically, there's some conchals who people take it from the sea, and these conchals are worth as much as they're closer to the sea. If they're closer to, they make a garland of these conchals, and this garland is worth something. And the farther you are on the land where you cannot get this so easy, then conchas are more valuable somehow or other. I don't know how does it. I looked at researched and still I don't understand how anybody can just dive and take the conchas. I don't understand how. But maybe somebody was controlling. I don't know how that works. But these gandas are conchas. So a coconut is sold 5 gandas, one coconut. So although he already had hundreds of trees and millions of fruits, so Raghava Pandit already had coconut trees in his land, he is still very eager to hear about the place where sweet coconuts are available. So for Krishna, this is why the reason is that because he wanted to offer to Krishna. So he didn't want to offer to Krishna any coconut. He wanted the sweetest, the best coconut for Krishna. So listen to this. He collects coconuts with great endeavor from a place 20 miles away. And he pays 4 panas for each of them. So pana was probably bigger than gandas. So he walks 20 kilometers to find the coconut, which is purely, he's heard about this coconut as the best. So this is the Raghava Pandit's devotional service. That he wants it for Krishna the best. We know in the Srimad Bhagavatam it is described how Madhya Shoda as a cow who is, only this cow is giving milk to Krishna. So, they have millions of cows, but this one cow, which is, they graze on Govardhan Hill and beautiful grass and Vrindavan, transcendental. But Madhya Shoda thinks, no, I want to give Krishna the best grass. She's sowing personally grass, the most best, tastiest grass, most rich, healthy. And so this cow is eating only this grass sown by Madhya Shoda. And this milk is offered to Krishna only, nobody else. So for the Krishna, best of the best. So this is what Raghava Pandit does. He offers best of the best. He walks 20 kilometers. Every day, 5 to 7 coconuts are clipped and put into water to keep cool. So this is also not just he bought them, because in India we know it's hot. So he put them in cool water to cool for Krishna. So he clips them and keep him in the water to be cool. Then, at the time of offering bhoga, the coconuts are again clipped and cleansed. After hole are made in them at the top, they offered to Lord Krishna. Coconuts, they're cut in the top, and nowadays they have straws, plastic straws and plastic everywhere on the ground. But then the Krishna would just drink like this, coconut. And one more time, before we offered, he again washed it. Lord Krishna drinks the juice from these coconuts, and sometimes the coconuts are left drained of juice. At other times, the coconut remained filled with juice. So sometimes Krishna said, I'll just drink it all. And he takes the coconut, it's empty. We know this also from Caitanya-caritāmṛta story, when this boy was visiting, I don't think it's maybe from Chaitanya Bhagavatam, when the Brahmana boy was very, very young, small boy, and his father, he didn't have time to wait for the offering. He offered to Krishna plates, and he said, I have to go right now and make sure that Krishna eats this, and then when he finishes eating, then we take the plate back. So the boy put the plates, small child, and he was standing in front of Krishna, the deity. And then after some time, he was looking at the pots are still full. And he said, please eat this. And Krishna, is playing flute. And the child become a little anxious. He said, please eat this because my father will beat me, because he told me you have to eat and you are not eating, so my father will not be happy. And Krishna was still playful, so he was insisting, the child was insisting. And then in the end, Krishna says, how can I eat? I'm a stone. And the child said, no, you can speak also, you can eat. No, you have to eat. So then Krishna was forced to eat. Krishna ate the whole from the plate. So the child was very happy. Why did my father told me? So he put it back. So when his father came back, he said, where's the prasadam? He said, Krishna ate it. And he says, what do you mean Krishna ate it? He said, Krishna, you told me to give it to Krishna to eat, and Krishna ate it. So, if small child tells you this, you don't know, is it true or is it not true? It's a small child. How did Krishna eat it? So the next day, father said, again he cooked and he said, I have to go again. Give to Krishna to eat again. So, and then this time father hid behind the curtain. So he gave it to Krishna, and child again did the same thing. Please eat it because my father told me again. So Krishna ate it, and father realized my child is a pavitram uttamam, is a supremely pure. So when Raghava Pandit sees that the juice has been drunk from the coconuts, he is very pleased. He thinks, Krishna has drunk the juice. If we would we made some breakfast today, and if you now finish the lecture and I go and pots are empty, you think like, Krishna, thank you for eating, but we also have to eat breakfast. But Raghava Pandit was very pleased. He saw there's nothing in it. He then breaks the coconuts, take out the pulp, and puts it on another plate. After offering the pulp, he meditates outside the temple door. In the meantime, Lord Krishna, having eaten the pulp, leaves the plate empty. So he breaks the coconut and leaves the pulp, and also offers the pulp now. And then Krishna ate the pulp too. Sometimes, after eating the pulp, Krishna fills the plate again with new pulp. In this way, the faith of Raghava Pandit increases and he floats in an ocean of love. Ocean of love is called Prema Sindhu. Ocean of love. Love is, again, this word love and prema are not equivalent, actually. English word love is mundane. It can mean affection towards a body of another person or a sexual, exchange. But love here means prema. Prema is a pure, as Prabhupada used this word, unadulterated, means unmixed with anything else, love for Krishna. So Prema Sindhu, he was swimming in the Prema Sindhu. One day, it so happened that about 10 coconuts were properly clipped and brought by a servant to offer to the deity. He offered 10 coconuts to the deities. Actually, Prabhupada says that one should, prasadam should be offered to Krishna, should be always full. The bowl should be not just full, but overfilled. He said because he's a 16-year-old boy, he needs to eat a lot. So therefore, when we offer plate for Krishna, the shusel, the bowl should be overfilled. And if you put chapatis, put a stack of chapatis, because young boys, they eat a lot. We know this. If you're 16 years old, you need to eat a lot. When the coconuts were brought, there was little time to offer them because it was already late. The servant holding the container of coconuts remained standing at the door. So the servants were standing at the door, wondering, should I offer what's happening right now? Raghava Pandit then saw the servant touch the ceiling above the door and then touch the coconuts with the same hand. So he touched the ceiling. The houses in those days were much more lower. Actually, everywhere, not only in India, anywhere, the houses were lower. It's only the rich aristocratic people, they were not higher, but like 3 times higher. This was the sign of opulence. But normal people have normal, smaller. Like I remember I was in Kerala, and one person invited me to his house. And, of course, his parents built a new house next to it. It's horrible, ugly house, brick and cement. But he stayed in an old house, which was a Vastu house, built by Vastu, by Brahmanas, sanctioned Vyagya. And when you enter the house, it's like you feel so comfortable. It's like amazing, very nice energy. Not much furniture. I think he didn't even have any, maybe desk, but just empty space. And this is really, really nice. But the ceiling was very low. You could actually touch the ceiling. And the doors, the Vastu way to make the doors is to make it smaller. So that you always somehow have to bend for some reason to accept. I don't exactly know the details. I'm not a Vastu master, but the doors are always little, like you have to bend. So this was the people. So his servant, Raghava Pandit's servant, was standing at this thing low, and he was touching the ceiling. You know, man, sometimes we touch the ceiling, and then and he was holding a coconut. Raghava Pandit then said, "People are always coming and going through that door. The dust from their feet blows up and touches the ceiling. After touching the ceiling above the door, you have touched the coconuts. Now they are no longer fit to be offered to Krishna because they are contaminated." So how can you offer, because he said, you touch the ceiling and you touch the coconut with the same hand. This is unacceptable. So the standards are very high. Raghava Pandit has very, very high standards. We know some other devotees have less standards. This Vamsidas Babaji. There's a book by Srila Bhakti Vikas Swami. He collected the stories from the Baba, who was actually Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, told two of his disciples to travel with Vamsidas and serve him, because he's a Parama Purusha, he's a Siddha Purusha, he's a perfect being, he's achieved, Krishna Prema. But before that, nobody knew who he was. He was just a wild man in Copen with long dreadlocks walking, and nobody could recognize him. But Bhaktisiddhanta recognized him. You should serve him. So devotees who served him, this devotee called Jati Shekhar, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj met him while researching for the book of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and Jati Shekhar told him about Vamsidas Babaji, and he wrote a small booklet about this Babaji, because this was an amazing personality, always absorbed in love for Krishna. So his standards were very opposite of Raghava Pandit's. Not clean. He said that he wouldn't even take shower for weeks, and he would just no any regulations. He would just, middle of the night, he would just stand up and walk, and they were like, "Oh, Maharaj, this time," he would not, he was avaduta, and he offered. Sometimes he would peel the aubergine, the eggplant, and he would just put in the water, just peel of the aubergine in the water and offer it to Krishna. Nobody could understand, why is he doing this? And so on and so forth. So these are the different opposites. But the point is that both are equal, because they're both, Krishna accepts the love. Krishna doesn't care about how nicely the food is prepared. But Raghava Pandit expressed his love in this way, and Vamsidas Babaji presented his love in such a way. So, but the point is love, to offer with love. In the story with Vidura, when Krishna came to Vidura's home, because before that, Krishna was invited by Duryodhana. Duryodhana was a king. He could create amazing feast, cook wonderful feast for Krishna. Krishna did not want to eat in a house of a non-devotee. So he said, "No, I will eat at Vidura's place." So he went to Vidura, and Vidura didn't have anything prepared. And he said, "Oh, I have some bananas." And he said, "Okay, let's eat bananas." But Vidura was so ecstatic that Krishna came, he would give Krishna's peels, and he would put the bananas away. And Krishna would eat the peel, and he said, "Wow, this is such a nice food you're cooking for me." So the point is that Krishna is accepting prema. Krishna is accepting love. Krishna does not care about material, nicely cooked food. But that said, that doesn't mean that we can just offer anything to Krishna. Patram pushpam palam toyam. Okay, just offer a little water and Krishna will be pleased. No. Prabhupada says, you have to do according to your means. If you have a means, you should offer to Krishna nice prasadam. If you're a rich person, if you offer some water and leave, Krishna will think like, wow, this is a miserly person. But if you're poor, if you offer a little water, that's all you have. This is a different story. But nobody is nowadays so poor that you cannot offer anything to Krishna. So this is the Raghava Pandits is a good example how actually one should perform devotional service. So this is, I will just read this purport and finish. Such is the service of the Raghava Pandit. He did not accept the coconuts, but threw them over the wall. His service is purely based on unalloyed love, and it's conquered the whole world. So this is, thereafter Raghava Pandit had other coconuts gathered, cleansed and clipped, and with great attention offered them to deity to eat. In this way, from distant villages, he collects excellent bananas, mangoes, oranges, jackfruits, and whatever other first-class fruits he has heard about. So he's thinking, what else can I offer to Krishna? So he was not a miser. He was actually, all these fruits are collected from distant places and bought at a high price. After trimming them with great care and purity, Raghava Pandit offered them to the deity. So not a miser at all. He would offer everything the best to Krishna. Thus, with great care and attention, Raghava Pandit prepares spinach and other vegetables, radishes, fruits, chipped rice, powdered rice, and sweetmeats. He prepares cakes, sweet rice, condensed milk, and everything else with great attention, and the cooking conditions are purified so that the food is first class and delicious. So everything is first class for Raghava Pandit. Raghava Pandit also offered all kinds of pickles, such as kashamdi. He offers various scents, garments, ornaments, and the best of everything. So not only food, he offers garments to Krishna, nice garments, scents, ornaments. Thus, Raghava Pandit serves the Lord in an incomparable way. Everyone is very much satisfied just to see him. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu then mercifully embraced Raghava Pandit. The Lord also offered all the other devotees a farewell with similar respect. So this is the amazing devotion of Raghava Pandit, which is exemplary, that we should see how is Raghava Pandit offering, how is Raghava Pandit so dedicated. And we should, the reason why Caitanya-caritāmṛta actually exists is because these devotees are the best examples how to actually perform devotional service, particularly Caitanya-caritāmṛta, because Caitanya-caritāmṛta is, these are the humans. You know, sometimes in the Bhagavatam, demigods acting certain way, and we cannot sometimes relate. How do I relate to, I don't know, Brihaspati? Or, you know, these are the amazing personalities with mystic powers. They can fly to other planets or curse person to become a dog or whatever. You know, these are the, or Hiranyakashipu, who can relate to this? You know, but this we can relate to. These actual people who lived 500 years ago, a little over 500 years ago, and they don't have any extraordinary. They're just showing this is what is the mean to be a pure devotee. So this is what is the mean to be a pure devotee like Raghava Pandit. So Hare Krishna, I think this is good. 28 minutes. Thank you very much. Are there any questions?
Yeah, Prabhu, I have a question. So, regarding the offering, so, like, we hear from Caitanya-caritāmṛta, like, and also from the other instances, like, they offer over to Krishna and then it's like plate is empty.
Yes.
So, is there also recent instances like offered by devotees? Because as far as you know,
I'm sure there is.
okay.
Sometimes you have, when you have a deities, sometimes the cups, one of the cups of the water drinking, one of the cups is empty. For example,
Wow.
if you have a deities, Gonitai and Gauranga is empty or something like this. Not empty, but almost empty, and the other one is not empty. So, but we you know, we don't think ourselves that the Krishna drink from my cup. So maybe you can see, maybe it's evaporated, maybe, you know, whatever. You know, we don't think it that way. But the disappearing food, I don't know. Maybe there's something. There's always some devotees who experience something. We should not underestimate.
Yeah.
And like, for example, there was this story in about Jagannath Puri, in the Jagannath temple in Mayapur. There was these deities of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, very unique deities, very special deities. And one day, one pujari was dreaming, ISKCON pujari was dreaming that these deities, Rajapur, yeah. that he went to see these deities, because there was before the deity was taken care of by some very old devotee, I don't know, Gaudiya or some older devotee, Baba. And the buildings was falling apart and poor, very poor. And so these deities were very ecstatic. So the devotees were dreaming, and the deities, he went to Rajapur, and deities jumped off the altar. And they were going on the field. Sorry, Pujari was dreaming. And Pujari got up and he said, where are you going? And the deity said, we are going to ISKCON, because ISKCON gives good food and you don't have a good food. You don't give us anything. So then he woke up in the morning, the Pujari woke up in the morning, and he went to ISKCON and he told him the dream. So the devotees start worshiping the deity nicely, and then repair the building. Now it's a nice building, nice altar, marble. It was just a very simple. And then now there's a whole area is repaired. They put a lake, even the whole thing. And Shivas, there was a banyan tree with supposedly Shivas there, and everything is nicely done. And then as the devotees thought, let's increase some standards, and they put Shilas on the altar. And they put Govardhan Shila, Giriraj. And then after some time of offering food, after some time, the Pujari, not this one, but ISKCON Pujari, had a dream. And in this dream, the Jagannath Baladev Subhadra complained to the Pujari. He said, why did you bring this Giriraj Govardhan? He said, anytime the food, he eats the food even before touches the altar. He said, when the Pujari brings the food on a plate for us to eat, Giriraj was so greedy, he eats all the food. We have nothing. So he said, we cannot accept this. So the Pujari said, okay, let's do something. So they discussed amongst the Pujaris in Mayapur, and they concluded they will offer separate plate for Giriraj, because Giriraj, otherwise he eats everybody's food. He said he eats before the mantras, and He said they just Pujari carries the plate and he eats it already without mantras. He said this is not appropriate. Jagannath is waiting, So sometimes some leelas are like this. And I'm sure devotees have personal because there's so many devotees, thousands of devotees all over the world, and thousands of devotees have deities and shilas. I'm sure there's some stories. All right, anything else? Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu ki jai.